ಭೀತಿ ತೊರೆಯುವ ನಾವು ಪರೀಕ್ಷೆ ಬರೆಯುವ ಪರೀಕ್ಷಾವಾಣಿಯ ನಾವು ನೋಡಿ ಕಲಿಯುವ
ಖಾಲಿ ಜಾಗ ಭರ್ತಿ ಮಾಡಿ ಹೊಂದಿಸಿ ಬರೆದು ಲೆಕ್ಕ ಮಾಡಿ
ಚಿತ್ರ ಬರೆದು ಭಾಗವ ಹೆಸರಿಸಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆಗೂ ಉತ್ತರಿಸಿ
ಪಾಸು ಫೇಲು ಗೆಲುವು ಸೋಲು ಜೀವನ ಎಲ್ಲಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಮಿಗಿಲು
ಅಂಕಗಳೆಂದರೆ ಮೇಲಿನ ತೊಗಟೆ ವಿದ್ಯೆ ಅದರ ಒಳಗಿನ ತಿರುಳು ಭೀತಿ ತೊರೆಯುವ ನಾವು ಪರೀಕ್ಷೆ ಬರೆಯುವ ಪರೀಕ್ಷಾವಾಣಿಯ ನಾವು ನೋಡಿ ಕಲಿಯುವ ಪರೀಕ್ಷಾವಾಣಿಯ ನಾವು ನೋಡಿ ಕಲಿಯುವ ಪರೀಕ್ಷಾವಾಣಿಯ ನಾವು ನೋಡಿ ಕಲಿಯುವ
ಪರೀಕ್ಷಾವಾಣಿ.
Hello my dear children, myself is Mr. Swami HR. I am working in Government Girls High School, Devanahalli, Bangalore Rural District. In your previous class, you have studied about linear equation in two variable and its graphical representation. In this session, we will learn about pair of linear equation in two variable, that is third chapter of the standard, pair of linear equation in two variables. Let me recall the important points which comes under this unit. The first one is the general form of pair of linear equations in two variables, that is a1x plus b1y plus c1 equal to 0 and a2x plus b2y plus c2 equal to 0. This is called the general form of pair of linear equations in two variables, where the coefficients a1, b1, c1 and a2, b2, c2 are any real numbers. The second point is how to solve the pair of linear equation in two variables. I mean, we are going to find out the solutions of pair of linear equation in two variables by different methods. We have the first method called graphical method, and also very important for the examination point of view. The second method is substitution method. The third one is elimination method. The last one is cross product method. Here the last three methods are called algebraic methods. Usually we will classify the methods into two categories. The first one is graphical method and the second one is algebraic method. Under algebraic method, we have three specific methods, which are the substitution method, elimination method and cross product method. Today we will learn about how to solve pair of linear equation in two variables by using these methods. The next point is graphical representation of pair of linear equations in two variables. Depending on the values of a1 by a2, b1 by b2 and c1 by c2, we are going to give the type of graphical representation for the given pair of linear equation in two variables. Here is a table that shows the different graphical representation for the pair of linear equation in two variable based on the three values. In the first point, if the value of a1 by a2 not equal to b1 by b2, I mean, if you compare the ratios of a1 by a2 with b1 by b2, if the two ratios are not equal, then the given pair, the graph of given pair has intersecting lines. The two lines intersect each other. Just you can see the fourth column, the lines are intersect each other. If that is the case, there exists only one common point for the two lines. Hence, you will have only one solution for the pair. If there exists a solution, then the pair has consistent equation. We say that the pair is consistent pair. When it comes to second point, if the value a1 by a2 equal to b1 by b2 and also equal to c1 by c2, all the three ratios are equal, the three values are equal, then we will get coincident lines. The two lines coincident lines, two lines coincides each other. You can see the third column, the two lines overlap with each other. If that is the case, there are infinitely many common points on the lines. Hence, the pair has infinite number of solutions. If there exists a solution, we say the pair is consistent pair. When it comes to the last point, the values of A1 by A2 equal to B1 by B2, but not equal to C1 by C2. The first two values are equal, but the third value C1 by C2 not equal to the first two. If that is the case, there exists a pair of equations, parallel lines. The graph is parallel lines. You can see the fourth column, the lines are parallel to each other. Is there any common point in the graph? No. The two lines are parallel lines. Hence, there is no common point at all for the two lines. Hence, the pair has no solution. If that is the case, we say it is an inconsistent pair. If there exists a solution, we say a consistent pair. If there is no solution for the pair, we say it is inconsistent pair. So, usually they will ask 1 mark or 2 mark question in the examination based on this table. In the next, we will learn how to solve examples based on this table. Here is an example. Determine whether the pair of linear equations in two variables 5x minus 4y plus 8 equal to 0, 7x plus 6y minus 9 equal to 0 has unique solution or no solution or infinitely many solutions. We have to determine the type of solution for the given pair. Here, first we have to compare the given pair into standard form. Standard form says a1x plus b1y plus c1 equal to 0, a2x plus b2y plus c2 equal to 0. If you compare this equation with the standard form, you will get the values of a1 as 5, b1 as 4, c1 as 8, a2 as 7, b2 as 6 and c2 as minus 9. So, these are the values. After comparing the given pair with the standard form, you can write these 6 values. After writing these 6 values, let us find out the ratios of a1 by a2 first. a1 by a2, it gives 5 by 7. In the same way, b1 by b2 you can take minus 4 by 6. After cancellation, you will get minus 2 by 3. Just by comparing a1 by a2 with b1 by b2, you can come to a conclusion that all these two ratios are unequal. They are not equal. In this case, no need to find out the ratio c1 by c2. If the ratio a1 by a2 not equal to b1 by b2, based on the first condition, we can arrive at a conclusion. No need to get the ratio c1 by c2. So, in this case, you can come to a conclusion that the ratios a1 by a2 not equal to b1 by b2. Based on our table, the given pair has intersecting lines. The lines are intersect each other. If the lines intersect each other, there is only one common point on the two lines. If that is the case, the pair has unique solution. In the next, let me know how they will ask multiple choice question based on the table. Here is a question. Determine the value of k for which the pair 2x plus 3y equal to 5 and 4x plus ky equal to 8 has no solution. Here are 4 alternates: option A 2, option B 3, option C 4 and option D 6. It is a kind of multiple choice questions, but we will follow a different type of method to find out multiple choice questions solution. In this example, as usual, we have to compare the given pair into standard form. After comparison, we will get the values of a1 as 2, b1 as 3 and c1 as 5, a2 is 4, b2 is k and c2 is minus 8. After getting these 6 values, let us see. In the question, it is given the pair has no solution. Based on the table, if the pair has no solution, according to the condition, the ratios a1 by a2 equal to B1 by B2 but not equal to C1 by C2. See the condition. According to the condition, it says A1 by A2 ratio is equal to B1 by B2 but not equal to C1 by C2. Now let us verify this condition for the values. If you substitute the values in the condition, you get 2 by 4 equal to 3 by k but not equal to 5 minus 5 by minus 8. After simplification, you will get 1 by 2 equal to 1 by 2 but not equal to 5 by 8 only after substituting k value as 6. If you substitute k value 6, you will get the correct option. Hence, the correct solution is option D, it is 6. So, by substituting the values of k, you can get the correct alternate for the multiple choice questions. In this way, you can answer any kind of multiple choice questions based on the table. Now, let us see the second question based on the same table. It says, for what value of k will the equations 2x plus ky equal to 10 and x plus 4y equal to 5 represents coincident lines. Here the condition given is coincident lines and also it is given 4 options. Option A 2, option B 4 and option C 6, option D 8. Let me solve in the same lines. First, we have to compare the given equation into standard form. After comparing the given equation, we can get the values A1 as 2, B1 as k and C1 as minus 10. In the same way, A2 value 1, B2 value 4 and C2 value is minus 5. After getting these 6 values, let us apply the condition. It is given the lines are coincident lines. Condition says all the 3 ratios are equal. A1 by A2 value is equal to B1 by B2 and also equal to C1 by C2. If these 3 values are equal to each other, now you are going to apply the 6 values for the given condition. According to this, you will get 2 by 1 equal to k by 4 and is equal to minus 10 by 5. After simplification, you will get 2 by 1 equal to k by 4 which is equal to 2 by 1. Now substitute in place of k the value 8, then only you will get the correct option. If you substitute k value as 8, you will get all the 3 ratios are equal. Hence, the correct option is option D 8. So, in this way you can solve multiple choice questions based on the table. So, here we are going to solve the question pair of linear equation in 2 variable by graphical method. This is an important type of question for the examination point of view. When it comes to scheme, the question is divided into 4 parts. In the first part, you have to find out the 2 tables for the 2 equations. It carries 2 marks, 1 mark each. The remaining 2 marks is given to the graph. Let me see how to find out the table for the given 2 equations. In the first equation x plus y equal to 5 can be expressed as y equal to 5 minus k by transposing x to right side. Now, by giving the values of x to the equation, we are going to get the values of y and finally we get the table like this. X 0, 1, 2 are the values. You will get the y values are 5, 4, 3. If you substitute x value as 0, you will get y value as 5, and if you substitute x value 1, you can get y value as 4, and for x value 2, you will get y value 3. Now, here is the 3 points. We have 3 points. We are going to locate these 3 points on the graph sheet. In the next stage, again we have to find out another table for the second equation. First, we have to solve for y. It gives y equals to 2x minus 4, y equals to 2x minus 4. Now, substitute in the same way x values by taking x value as 0 and x value as 1 and x value as 2. If you substitute x value as 0, you will get y value as minus 4. In the same way, for x value 1, you will get y value minus 2, and for x value 2, you will get y value 0. For the first table, we have 3 points. For the second table, again there are 3 points. After getting these 2 tables, let us plot a graph on the graph sheet. Now you have to take a graph sheet and you have to draw a horizontal line called x axis and a vertical line called y axis. The point of intersection of these two axes is called the origin. After writing these two axes, we have to locate the table from the first. The first point is 0, 5. We have to locate 0, 5. Before, you must write the scale. Scale is very, very important for the examination point of view. Otherwise, you will lose half marks. Scale, it says, usually we will take along x axis 1 centimeter is equal to 1 unit and along y axis 1 centimeter is equal to 1 unit. After writing this scale, now you start locating the points. Now the first point is 0, 5. Let us move 0 units towards right side and 5 units towards upward, because 5 is positive. We have to move positive axis. That is why we have to take 5 units towards upward. Then the point 0, 5 lie on y axis. After that, you have to locate the point 1, 4. 1 represents x value, 4 represents y value. For 1, we have to move 1 centimeter towards right side along x axis, and again for y value 4, you have to move 4 units upward. Then you can get the point 1, 4. After that, you have to locate the third point, that is 2, 3. You have to move 2 units towards positive x axis and you have to move 3 units towards positive y axis, towards upward. After locating all the 3 points for the first table, you have to draw a straight line and also you have to extend the straight line. After this straight line, now you have to start locating the second table points. From the second table, the first point is 0, -4. Now locate 0, -4 on the graph sheet. X value 0 along x axis only. Y value -4, you have to move towards negative y axis, I mean downwards. Hence 0, -4 point lies on negative y axis. The second point is 1, -2. X value is positive, again move towards +1 towards positive x axis, and again y value -2, again you have to go for downward direction. Since it is negative value, y value is negative, you have to move downwards. Hence you can get the value 0.1, -2. Finally, you have to locate 2, 0. X value has 2 units and y value has 0. 2, 0 lies on x axis. After locating the 3 points of the second table, join the 3 points and extend that line. Both the lines intersect each other at a common point. Here is a common point. So from this common point, you have to draw 2 perpendicular lines. One is towards x axis and another one is towards y axis. If you draw perpendicular towards x axis, you will get x value as 3, and if you draw perpendicular towards y axis, you will get y value as 2. Hence x value 3 and y value 2 is the required solution for the given pair by graphical method. In this way, you can solve pair of equation by graphical method. I will repeat once again, this graph carries 4 marks usually. If they ask the graph for 4 marks, you have to split, like for 2 tables 2 marks, for remaining 2 marks for the graphical representation. You have to remember one thing, the scale is very, very important. Next, how to solve pair of linear equation in 2 variables by algebraic method. Here is the first method, substitution method. The name itself says we are going to substitute one equation in the another. We have to substitute one equation into another. The 2 equations given are x plus y equals to 10 and x minus y equals to 2. If you solve these 2 equations by substitution method, first we have to solve one of the equation to one of the variable. First I will take the 2 equations are equation 1 and equation 2. First one, x plus y equals to 10, equation 1, x minus y equals to 2, that is equation number 2. Now I am going to solve equation 2 for x. it gives x equals to 2 plus y. Equation 2 and equation 3 are one and the same. Now, we have to substitute equation 3 in equation 1. Substitute equation 3 in equation 1, we will get, as equation 1 says, x plus y equals to 10. In place of x, you take 2 plus y. Here y and y are like terms, add both y and y, you will get 2y. So, 2 plus 2y is equal to 10. Now, transpose 2 to right side, you will get minus 2. Take a difference, 10 minus 2 gives 8, and transpose again 2 to right side, it goes to denominator, then you will get the y value as 4. After substituting equation 3 in equation 1, you can get the value y equal to 4. Next, we have to get the value of x. Substitute y value 4 in equation 3, because already we have solved equation 3 for the variable x. Now, directly substitute y value 4 in equation 3, we get x equals to 2 plus y, I mean x equals to 2 plus 4. In place of y, you have to take y value as 4. After adding 2 and 4, you will get x value as 6. Now, x equal to 6 and y equal to 4. This is the required solution for the given pair. In this way, you can solve the pair of linear equation in two variable by substitution method. It is also important question for the examination point of view. Usually, they will ask for 2 marks. Now, next method is elimination method. We are going to eliminate one of the variable among the two. So, here is a question. Solve x plus y equal to 5 and 2x minus 3y equal to 5 by elimination method. The word itself says elimination. We are going to eliminate one of the variable. You can eliminate either y or x, whatever it may be, depending upon the coefficients of both the variables. Now, you take the given equations are 1 and 2, I mean x plus y equals to 5 and 2x minus 3y equals to 4, that is equation number 2. Just you compare both the variables, the coefficients of both the variables. In the first equation, coefficient of x is 1, in the second equation, coefficient of x is 2. Coefficients are not equal. In the same way, y coefficients are also not equal. Now, we are going to make equal. This can be done by multiplying equation 1 by 3. Now, I am going to multiply equation 1 in 3. Now, we have to multiply equation 1 by 3. If you multiply equation 1 by 3, we get 3x plus 3y is equal to 15, that is equation number 3. Just have a comparison with equation 2 and 3. By solving 2 and 3, we can get the solution. If you compare the coefficients of y in equation 2 and 3, coefficients are numerically equal, their signs are opposite. In the second equation, it is minus 3. In the third equation, it is plus 3. If the coefficients are numerical equal with opposite sign, then we have to add both the equations to eliminate that particular variable. If you add equation 2 and equation 3, we get 3x plus 2x, it is 5x plus 3y minus 3y cancels each other, and if you add 15 with 5, it gives 20. Now, transpose 5 to that side. After transposing 5 to that side, 5 cancels with 20, and finally, we can get the value x equals to 4. The value of x is equal to 4. So, in this way, you can get one of the value. After getting one value, by substituting this in another equation, I mean substitute x value is equal to 4 in equation 1. You can substitute this value in any one of these two equations, either in 1 or in 2. Now, I am going to substitute x value 4 in equation 1. It gives x plus y equals to 5 is equation 1. In place of x, we have to take 4, y remains same, transpose 4 to that side, it gives 5 minus 4. After taking a difference, you will get y value is equal to 1. Now, x value 4 and y value 1 is the required solution for the given pair of equation by elimination method. In this way, you can solve any pair of linear equation in two variables by elimination method. The third one is cross multiplication method. That word itself says cross multiplication. We are going to multiply cross the coefficients of the given pair of equations. First, we will learn how to multiply the coefficients. Here is a method. First, we have to take any given pair into standard form. After reducing that into standard form, you have to write the coefficients in a column wise. How? Just you look at the screen. First, we have to take B1 by B2 in the first column, then C1 by C2 in the second column, and again A1 by A2 in the third column, finally B1 by B2 in the fourth column. After writing these four columns, we have to take a ratio. With the help of first and second columns, take x value. With the help of second and third, take y. With the help of third and fourth, take 1. After taking, we get like the three ratios. X divided by B1 C2 minus B2 C1 is equal to y divided by C1 A2 minus C2 A1. Finally, 1 divided by A1 B2 minus A2 B1. These are the three ratios, and also very important to arrive the values of x and y. After comparing first ratio with the third, you get x value. Again, by comparing y second ratio with the third, you will get the y value. Both x and y values are like this. X is equal to B1 C2 minus B2 C1 divided by A1 B2 minus A2 B1. By comparing first ratio with the third, you get this value x. By comparing second ratio with the third ratio, you can get the value y like this. Y is equal to C1 A2 minus C2 A1 divided by A1 B2 minus A2 B1. These two you have to consider as important formulae to calculate the values of x and y. Now, let me solve one of the equation by cross multiplication method. Here is an example. Solve 3x plus y equal to 9, 2x plus 3y equal to 13 by cross multiplication method. What to do in the first step? You have to reduce the given equation into standard form. How to reduce? By transposing all the right side terms to left side. You will get like this. 3x plus y minus 9 is equal to 0, first equation. Again, second one, 2x plus 3y is equal to 13. Compare these two equations with the standard form and get the 6 values. You will get the value A1 is 3, B1 is 1 and C1 is minus 9. The value of A2 is 4 and B2 is 3 and C2 is minus 13. After writing these 6 values, directly you apply the value formula of x. It says x is equal to B1 C2 minus B2 C1 divided by A1 B2 minus A2 B1. In place of A1 B1, A2 B2, C2, C1 C2, you have to substitute the values. After substituting the values, you will get like x equal to 1 into minus 13 minus 3 into minus 9 divided by 3 into 3 minus 2 into 1. Now you have to multiply 1 into minus 13 and minus 3 into minus 9. You will get like x is equal to minus 13 plus 27. In the denominator, you will get 9 minus 2. Just to look at the numerator, one is negative, another is positive, you go for subtraction. Minus 13 plus 27 gives 14, 9 minus 2 gives 7. After division, you will get the value x is equal to 2. In this way, you can get the value x as 2 by cross multiplication method. In the same way, by writing y formula, that is y equal to C1 A2 minus C2 A1 divided by A1 B2 minus A2 B1. Now substitute the values in this formula. you get y equals to minus 9 into 2 minus into minus 3 into 3 divided by 3 into 3 minus 2 into 1. What is minus 9 into 2? It is minus 18. What is minus into minus 13 into 3? It gives plus 39 divided by, you get 9 minus 2 in the denominator. Again in the numerator, one is negative, another is positive. You go for subtraction, you will get 21 in the numerator, and again you subtract 2 from 9, you will get 7. Divide 7 and 21, finally you will get y equals to 3. In this way, you can find the values of x and y by cross multiplication method. X equals to 2 and y equals to 3 are the required solution by cross multiplication method. These are 3 different methods. You can solve any example based on these algebraic methods. Now, in this chapter, there are different type of verbal examples, like examples related to speed, examples related to age, examples related to numbers, examples related to fraction, examples related to taxi, examples related to distance and time, like that. There are so many kind of examples, we call them as verbal examples. Here is a question. We are going to solve this verbal example by applying one of the algebraic method. Just the question is like this: the sum of 2-digit number and the number formed by interchanging the digit is 66, and the 2-digit differ by 2. Find the number. So, according to the given statement, first we have to consider a 2-digit number. Let us consider the first 2-digit number be xy. If xy is our first number, the second number will be yx. It is given the number found by interchanging the digits. If you interchange x and y, you will get the second number as yx. It is given in the question. We have to add both the numbers, first number and second number, after writing them in expanded form. You can write xy in expanded form like 10x plus y. In the same way, write the second number in expanded form, it becomes 10y plus x. According to the given statement, the first statement, it says you have to add both the numbers. Add both the numbers means you are going to add their expanded form. After adding their expanded form, like 10x plus y plus 10y plus x equals to 66. In the next step, like terms we have to add. 10x plus x becomes 11x, 10y plus y equals to 11y. Finally, after taking 11 as a common factor, you will get 11 into x plus y is equal to 66. Now, transpose 11 to that side or divide 11 on both sides, you will get x plus y is equal to 6 is the first equation. With the help of first statement, you can get the first equation. Usually, in these verbal type of examples, they have to give two conditions. Based on the first condition, you have to get one equation. Based on the second condition, you have to take the second equation. So, from the first statement, here is the first equation, x plus y is equal to 6. Now, look at the second condition. It is given the digits differ by 2. The difference between the given 2 digit is 2. It is a simple statement. You can take like x minus y is equal to 2 according to the second condition. That becomes equation 2. Now, we have two equations, equation 1 and equation 2. Let us solve both the equation by applying any one of the method. Now, I am going to apply elimination method to solve the equation. Why elimination method? In both the equations, coefficients are equal. If coefficients are equal, then it is easy to find out the values of x and y. Now, let us apply elimination method to solve equation 1 and equation 2. If you compare the coefficients of y, numerical values are equal, their coefficients with opposite sign. If that is the case, we have to add both the equations. Add equation 1 and equation 2. You will get 2x equals to 8. Now divide 2 on both sides. Finally, you will get x value as 4. After getting x value as 4, substitute x value 4 in any one of the equation, either in 1 or in 2. Now I am going to substitute x value 4 in equation 1. Equation 1 says x plus y is equal to 6. In place of x, you have to substitute 4. So transpose 4 to that side, you will get 6 minus 4 y value. So finally you will get y value as 2. X value 4 and y value 2 is the required solution. So the given number we have taken as xy. First we have assumed the number as xy. Hence the first number is 42. The second number will be 24. In this way you can find out the values. A reducible form. This is the last point of the chapter. In this, usually the variables x and y in the denominator. First we have to reduce them into standard form, then we have to solve. Here is a question. Solve 2 by x plus 3 by y is equal to 13. 5 by x minus 4 by y is equal to minus 2. We have to solve this by reducing the two equations into standard form. You can write the first equation in like this. You can write the first equation like this. 2 by x can be taken as 2 into 1 by x. In the same way, 3 by y can be taken as 3 into 1 by y is equal to 13. Now I have separated 1 by x and 1 by y in both the parts. In the same way, second equation can be taken as 5 into 1 by x minus 4 into 1 by y is equal to minus 2. I will call these two are equation 1 and equation 2. Just to look at both the equations. In equation 1, 1 by x, 1 by y. In the same way, in equation 2, it is 1 by x and 1 by y form. Now we have to assume that 1 by x as p and 1 by y as q. We have to assume that 1 by x as p and 1 by y as q to get another pair of linear equations. After substituting 1 by x as p and 1 by y as q in the first equation, you will get 2p plus 3q is equal to 13. That is first equation. If you substitute the same in the second given equation, you will get 5p minus 4q is equal to minus 2. Now you compare these two equations. Are they in standard form? Yes, these two equations are in standard form with the variables p and q. Now to find out the solution for this pair, we have to apply any one of the three algebraic method. Now again I will go for elimination method. To apply elimination method, just you compare their coefficients. Are they equal? No. Now we are going to equate the coefficients. Just to compare the coefficients of either p or q. Here the coefficients are not equal. Let us make it equal. How it is possible? Just by multiplying with each other. I will multiply equation 1 by 4 and equation 2 by 3, then both the coefficients of q becomes equal. If you multiply equation 1 by 4, you get 2p plus 3q is equal to 13 is the equation 1. If you multiply into 4, you will get the equations like this. In the first equation, you have to multiply by 4. In the second equation, you have to multiply by 3. After multiplying both the equations, you will get like this. 8p plus 12q is equal to 52. That is our equation number 3. Second, 15p minus 12q is equal to minus 6. That is equation number 4. Now look at the coefficients of q. Are they equal? Yes. Numerically the coefficients are equal with opposite sign. If the coefficients are equal with opposite sign, Now we are going to add both the equations. If you add both the equations, you will get 23p is equal to 46, because 8p plus 15p is equal to 23p, minus 12q plus 12q cancels each other, 52 minus 6 becomes 46. Now divide 23 on both sides, you will get p value as 2. P value becomes 2. Now we have already assumed p value as 1 by x. In place of p, you take 1 by x is equal to 2. After taking the reciprocal, you will get x value as 1 by 2. In the same way, substitute p value in any one of the equation, either in 3 or in 4. You will get like 2 into 2 plus 3q is equal to 13. 2 to the 4 plus 3q is equal to 13. 3q equals to 13 minus 4. After transposing 4 to right side, it becomes minus 4. Finally, we get 3q is equal to 13 minus 4. After transposing 4 to right side, you will get 3q is equal to 13 minus 4. Finally, if you subtract 13 and 4, you get 9. 3q is equal to 9. Transpose 3 to right side, finally you will get q value as 3. We have assumed q as 1 by y. Substitute in place of q as 1 by y, you will get 1 by y is equal to 3. After taking reciprocal, finally you will get y is equal to 1 by 3. So in the first case, x is equal to 1 by 2 and y is equal to 1 by 3 is the required solution. In this way, by reducing the given equations into standard form, we have to solve by applying any one of the 3 algebraic method. So these are the important points which comes under the third chapter, pair of linear equation in 2 variables. I wish you all the best and I wish you have a great success. Thank you one and all.
Hi, hello, namaste. I am Ramchandra Bhatt, science teacher at Government High School, Battarayanpura, Mysore Road, Bangalore. Welcome to the revision classes. You are eagerly waiting for science classes. Let us learn very important chapter, that is second chapter in the chemistry, acid, bases and salts. Here are very important key points that you are going to learn in the session. They are indicators, physical properties of acids and bases, chemical properties of acids and bases, reasons for acidic nature, pH value, its application, chloralkali process, preparation of some important salts and their uses. Now let us learn one by one acids. What are acids? The substances that produce hydronium ion in aqueous or water medium are called as acids. Example, H plus when added to water, that means acids contain H plus ion. They release H plus ions in water and produce hydronium ion. Example for acids are hydrochloric acid, nitric acid, acetic acid, sulfuric acid and so on. Organic acid in our daily life. Acids are part and parcel of our life. Here is the chart where the acids are present, where they are used. Acids are acetic acid, present in vinegar, formic acid, found in ants' sting, citric acid, found in citrus fruits such as lemons, oranges and so on, lactic acid, found in curd, oxalic acid, found in spinach. Similarly, vitamin C, commonly known as ascorbic acid. It is found in amla, citrus fruits and so on. tartaric acid, tamarind, grapes, unripe mangoes, and so on. All these are found in our nature, hence these are called as natural acids. Now let us move on to next slide, that is bases. What are bases? The substances that produce hydroxyl ion OH minus are called bases. MgOH twice, when added to water, it ionizes, it breaks into Mg2 plus ion plus 2 OH minus ions. OH minus ions are produced, means that is a base. Now example, many examples are there. Sodium hydroxide, ammonium hydroxide, potassium hydroxide, calcium hydroxide, and so on. If these are soluble in water, you call them as alkalis. So water soluble bases are called as alkalis. Now commonly used bases, here is the list. The bases are present in calcium hydroxide base found in lime water. Similarly, ammonium hydroxide, which is used in window cleaner, is present in window cleaning solutions. Similarly, sodium hydroxide or potassium hydroxide are used for manufacture of soap, and magnesium hydroxide is used as it is an important ingredient of milk of magnesia antacid. Now indicators. These are very important compounds, help us to distinguish which is an acid, which is a base. The substances that change their color in acidic or basic medium are termed as indicators. We have different types of indicators. They are natural, synthetic, olfactory indicator. Already you have seen several indicators. You know, litmus paper is a natural indicator. Synthetic, methyl orange, phenolphthalein, and so on. Olfactory indicators, olfaction, smell, they change the smell. Example, vanilla essence, onion extract, and so on. Now let us see one by one. That is the natural indicator. Litmus is an example for natural indicator. Litmus solution is a purple dye extracted from lichens. Lichens are belonging to a plant division called Thallophyta. You studied that one in 9th standard. This is the lichen. You are extracting two different kinds of litmus paper from this lichen, that is, one is red and one is blue. Already you played with these indicators. They are wonderful color changing things. Now olfactory indicators. Olfaction, already I told, smell. The substances whose smell changes in acidic or basic solution are termed as olfactory indicators. The characteristic smell of onion is destroyed by the basic solution, but acids like vinegar solution does not destroy the smell of onion. Now you can remember your everyday life situation eating of gobi manchuri. In the preparation of gobi manchuri, onion and vinegar both are used. Still, you know, the smell of onion still persists. That means in acidic medium, smell of olfactory indicator is retained. After that, to remove the bad breath, what you are doing? You are brushing with paste which contains a base. Hence, you know now what is the olfactory indicator, how it works. So, base removes the smell of onion, thus you can easily identify acid and base by using olfactory indicator. Similarly, clove oil, vanilla essence, you can also test at home. This is very simple and easy for you and also a fun for you. Now let us move on to the next slide, that is, how are the indicators different in different solutions. Here is a chart. If you take a sample solution, let us say acid HCl, base NaOH. Let us see 4 kinds of indicators are used. Let us see how they behave. Red litmus solution in acidic medium is red only. but in basic medium turns blue. Similarly, blue litmus, this remains, no, yes, that turns into red. In acidic medium, blue litmus solution turns red, while in basic medium remains blue only. Now, phenolphthalein, synthetic indicator, in acidic medium it is a colorless watery liquid, no change. But when you add that one to a base, magical color pink you can see. Similarly, methyl orange solution in acidic medium is red and in basic medium turns yellow. Thus, you can easily understand acid bases by using indicators. Let us perform very simple activity to understand this one. Dear students, let us try to identify whether a given substance is acid or a base by using litmus paper. Here I have two samples, one is blue litmus and one is red litmus paper. Similarly, I have few samples, they are, first one is, you are seeing here, vinegar, second one is sodium carbonate, third one is sodium hydroxide. Let us check the nature of these three with the help of litmus test. Let me introduce blue litmus into given three samples. So, observe the change carefully, second one and this is the third one. Blue litmus turns red in the first sample. That indicates here the first sample, what is this? Vinegar or acetic acid. So, this is acid. Second one is sodium carbonate, which is basic in nature. So, there is no change in the color of blue litmus paper. Third one also sodium hydroxide, also a base. Now, let me introduce a red litmus paper into three solutions. First one, observe here what happens. Second one, here is the third one. What is your observation? Red litmus remains red in first solution, there is no change. Second and third, where you are seeing change in the color, indicating first one is acidic, second and third one are basic in nature. By this you will understand vinegar is acidic, sodium hydroxide and sodium carbonate are basic in nature. Dear students, now let us try to test the given two samples, sodium hydroxide and vinegar, by using synthetic indicators, that is the methyl orange and phenolphthalein. Already I took two samples in two small caps. Let me add phenolphthalein indicator to the first one. So, there is no much change. Now add methyl orange. Let me add methyl orange to another solution. Observe the changes. Let me add phenolphthalein to. What will you understand? In acidic medium, phenolphthalein remains colorless, but in basic medium turns pink. Similarly, methyl orange is yellow in basic medium and red in acidic medium. Now let us move on to next slide. How do acids react with the metals? Already you are knowing this one. This is very important diagram, already you practiced several times. Some application level questions are also possible. What you are seeing here, when metal reacts with a dilute acid, it displaces the hydrogen. Dear children, remember reactivity series. In the reactivity series, the metal just above the hydrogen, they displace hydrogen very easily. Now you got the hint. So easily you can answer any kind of question related to this one. This is an example for displacement also. If I take, instead of zinc, if I take copper, what is the reaction? Yes, you are right. If you know the reactivity series, you know that one, copper is below hydrogen, there is no reaction, there is no hydrogen production. Thus you can understand and score the marks well. Here is the equation for given reaction. Zn plus H2SO4 gives rise to ZnSO4 and H2. Thus we can alter the question. Based on the diagram, we can ask several kind of question. They are called as diagram based. So I think you are prepared for that one. Now let us perform an activity to understand how the acids behaves with the metal. Dear students, now let us study how metals behave with an acid. Here is a sample of acetic acid, vinegar. I am taking small amount of acid in the test tube. Here is the magnesium ribbon. Let me introduce the magnesium ribbon into the test tube. Observe what happens. You are observing the evolution of gas. When magnesium reacts with acetic acid, it produces magnesium acetate plus hydrogen gas. By this you will understand metals displace hydrogen from dilute acids. Now let us move on to next slide. How do bases react with the metals? Bases like NaOH, they react with a few metals like zinc and aluminum. Remember, these two elements, metals, zinc and aluminum, are given in the textbook. So you have to practice the equation. Now let us see. Sodium hydroxide reacts with the zinc and produce sodium zincate with the evolution of hydrogen gas. Similarly, one more metal, aluminum, reacts with the sodium hydroxide, a base, to form NaAlO2 sodium aluminate, which is the salt, plus hydrogen gas. Let us understand this with the help of an activity. You will enjoy this activity. Dear students, now let us see how a base reacts with a metal. That is, aluminum reacts with sodium hydroxide to produce sodium aluminate plus hydrogen gas. Let us observe this one. Here sodium hydroxide solution is prepared. I am taking in a test tube. Let me add small amount of aluminum. So this is aluminum strip prepared from aluminum foil. Now you are observing the reaction. Hydrogen gas is produced. See the vigorous reaction. Now let us move on to next slide. How do metal carbonates and metal hydrogen carbonate react with acids? This is very popular reaction. Probably you played this one while making volcano. Let us see what is that. Sodium carbonate Na2CO3 when reacts with the acid like HCl, vinegar or any kind of acid produces a salt, water and carbon dioxide. Here you are seeing the neutralization. Similar kind of reaction will be possible with baking soda NaCO3. When baking soda is treated with HCl, it produces NaCl, H2O and CO2. Both are similar only. This reaction is utilized to remove hyperacidity. That is the treatment for hyperacidity. Now you understood the importance of learning neutralization reaction. Now, let us perform one more activity to understand this one. Dear students, now let us try to understand the reaction between vinegar and baking soda. That is how acid behaves with sodium hydrogen carbonate. Let me add some amount of baking soda into the test tube. Vinegar is taken in the test tube. Now I am adding baking soda. Observe the change carefully. Some gas is evolved, that is nothing but carbon dioxide. When hydrogen carbonates react with the acid, they produce carbon dioxide and salt plus water. Now let us move on to next slide, that is the neutralization reaction. Just now I told. What is the neutralization? Acid when reacts with a base, salt and water is produced, right? Will you give an example? Try to guess. Yes, you are right. When acid reacts with the base, you are getting a salt and water. This is the neutralization. Strong acid HCl reacts with NaOH, produces salt, neutral salt NaCl and water. Let us understand this one also with an activity. Dear students, let us try to understand neutralization reaction. I will add a few drops of sodium hydroxide. Now let me add phenolphthalein indicator. Already you know phenolphthalein turns this one into pink. Now let me add a few drops of vinegar. Observe what happens. Gradually color is fading. So, observing the solution slowly turning into colorless because NaOH is neutralized by the acid vinegar. So, gradually it turns colorless. This is neutralization reaction. Here you are seeing very important diagram. This is there for your examination. So, I think you practiced several times. That is, acid solutions in water conduct electricity. If I take HCl, what is the observation? If I replace HCl with acetic acid, what is the difference? You have to think and you have to answer. Depends on the concentration and strength, we are able to identify the difference. HCl is strong acid, then bulb glows brightly, acetic acid is the weak one, so it glows faintly. So you can see the difference in the glowing. This is very important diagram, so you have to practice. Now let us move on to next one, that is reaction of non-metallic oxide with a base. What is a non-metallic oxide? This is very simple, also related to your respiration. When carbon dioxide is passed through lime water, calcium hydroxide, it turns milky. This is the characteristic test for carbon dioxide. So, you can perform this activity very easily at your home itself. Blow through lime water, it turns milky, indicating formation of insoluble calcium carbonate. Further, if you continue the action, that is carbon dioxide pass through given mixture, further it turns into colorless because calcium hydrogen carbonate is formed, which is colorless because why? Yes, it is soluble in the solution and disappears. So that is the reason why this magic happened. Dear students, now let us understand how non-metallic oxides behaves with the base. Here is the base lime water, calcium hydroxide. Let me pass carbon dioxide through this solution. Observe what happens carefully. water turns milky. This is very easy and simple test for presence of carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide reacts with calcium hydroxide and produces insoluble solid calcium carbonate. If I continue the process, it turns colorless because calcium hydrogen carbonate is produced. Now let us move on to next slide. Change in the concentration of H plus as well as OH minus ions changes the pH. Let us understand this one with an example. Here is the question. Arrange the following into increasing order of their H plus ion concentrations. Solution A having the pH value 3.2, B 11, C 7, D 1.5. Thus, you are having 4 solutions. How to answer? Yes, before that you should have a thorough knowledge of pH scale. Here is the pH scale. Towards the right side you are seeing value in the pH scale increases and basic character increases. Below 7, H plus ion concentration is increasing. 1 is strong acid, 5 is weak acid. Similarly, 8 is weak base, 14 is strong base, because as you move towards right side, OH minus ion concentration is increasing. Towards the left side you are seeing the more blue color indicating H plus ion concentration is increasing. More the H plus, more will be the acidity and lesser will be the basicity. Based on this knowledge, let us try to analyze this question and answer. So, what is the answer? Let us see. Yes, probably most of you tried very well, very good. Now, the B is, what is the value of B? 11. H plus ions are very, very less among the 4, that is the B solution. Next comes 7, which is neutral. Next comes A, that is 3.2, and D is 1.5, highly acidic with maximum H plus ion concentration. These kind of questions are expected in the examination, so prepare for that. I gave some hints, so based on this you are able to answer to variety of questions. Now let us move on to next one. That is, how will you prepare dry HCl gas? This is the diagram. If you observe this one carefully, you will easily identify how to do this one. First you have to take concentrated H2SO4 solution in a test tube, add, what you have to add? Guess? Yes, sodium chloride. Put some amount of sodium chloride and you are getting HCl. So, this is how to prepare the HCl gas. How to identify whether it is dry or wet? Once again, very simple activity. So, same thing, one more slide where you are seeing how to identify. Bring a dry litmus paper which is blue on exposure to HCl. If the HCl is dry, then there is no change in the color. Now, you confirmed HCl is dry. Now, dip the blue litmus paper in water, once again exposed to that one. Now, its color changes to, red. So, you can easily remember BAR, simple mnemonics. B, blue, A, acidic medium, turns red. That means acid turns blue litmus into red. This is simple mnemonics, so you will enjoy this one. Now, let us move on to next one. Method of diluting acids is very, very important aspect in the laboratory. So, you should know thorough understanding of this one, what should be added to what, otherwise danger. Chemicals are very dangerous. The process of diluting an acid or a base in water is highly exothermic. Concentrated acids like HNO3, HCl, H2SO4, they must always be added slowly to the water with a constant stirring. Otherwise, large amount of heat generated leads to splashing out of acid, leads to burning of the skin. That's why care must be taken. So, if you are adding water to acid, the heat generated may cause mixture to splash because more amount of heat is generated. That's why always we have to add acid drop by drop with constant stirring. So, you understood why we have to add what to what. Based on this, some questions are possible. Dear children, try to understand this one. Now, let us move on to next concept, that is what? Different substances have different pH values. How to understand this? Here is the pH scale. It starts from 0 to 14. As you move towards the right side, pH value increases, H plus ion concentration decreases. The strength of an acid or a base can be measured with the help of pH value. pH value not only gives whether the substance is acid or base, but also tells us strength, which is stronger, which is weaker. How to identify? Here is the mnemonics. What is that? Here you are seeing, what you are seeing? Yes, here you are seeing Vibgyor written in a reverse order. Already you learned Vibgyor, so write in a reverse order, that is one more mnemonics. In the pH scale, if you are having a pH paper, if you dip that one in water, distilled water, its pH is 7 because it is a neutral substance. What is the color? Yes, green. If you dip pH paper in NaOH, what is the color? Right, violet. If I dip pH paper in concentrated HCl solution, its color is red. I have one more mnemonics. What is that? I have methyl orange. Where is the O? Yes, you are seeing just below the 2, O is written. Towards the right side Y, left side R is there. When methyl orange is added to base, color is yellow. Then when it is added to, methyl orange is added to acidic solution, its color is red. See, one more mnemonics from this pH scale. So, now examination becomes very simple, right? Dear students, now let us try to understand what is the pH of these 3 given solutions. Here is the vinegar, sodium hydroxide and sodium carbonate. Let me introduce the pH paper into 3. Observe the change. In the first one, you are observing the yellowish color, which is moderately acidic. The acid is weak, that is why the vinegar shows yellow coloration. Second one, NaOH, which is strongly basic in nature, dark purple color is observed. Similarly, soda shows somewhat reddish purple color, indicating it is moderately basic substance. NaOH is a strong base, so deep violet color is observed. So, vinegar is slightly acidic, soda is moderately basic, NaOH is strongly basic. Now, let us move on to next point, that is importance of pH in our daily life. Or the plants are pH sensitive, or we are pH sensitive? Yes, of course. Our body works within the pH range of 7 to 7.8. Living organism can survive only in this narrow range of pH. When the pH of the rain become 5.6 or less than that, you call that one as acid rain, which is very destructive. It destroys the aquatic life, also monuments and many things. So, pH is very important. And then, what is the pH of the soil in your backyard? You should know the pH of your soil. It is very essential for, especially for the farmer fraternity. The plant requires specific pH range for their healthy growth. Depends on the pH of the soil, a farmer must choose a particular fertilizer. Without soil testing, it is impossible. So, soil testing plays vital role for the farmers. Now, pH of the mouth, very important. That's why you have to use paste and you have to brush at least 2 times a day. pH of the mouth is very important because tooth decay occurs, change in the pH in the mouth. Enamel present in the teeth, that is made up of calcium hydroxyapatite, very important, hardest substance present in the body. That hard substance is easily corroded when the pH in the mouth is below 5.6 or 5.5. Now, the bacteria present in the mouth produces acids by the degradation of sugar and other food particle present in the mouth or between the teeth. So, you have to remove these things. You should not allow the bacteria to decompose and destroy your teeth. This leads to dental caries. So, now you understood why we have to use the paste. The paste contains a base which neutralizes the acidic effect of bacterial secretion. So, let us use paste to remove this bacterial acidic substances. Now, pH of the stomach. In stomach we have very powerful acid, that is HCl. The pepsin enzyme performs only in acidic medium. Pepsinogen generates pepsin when the pH is lower. pH increases means the function of pepsin is affected. That is why it is very important. Now, here is some list of salts. How will you guess the pH of these salt solutions? Is it possible? Some important hints are there. By using those hints, you are able to solve this question. Now, let us see. The salts are NaCl, ammonium chloride NH4Cl and CH3COONA sodium acetate. 3 salts are given. What is the pH? How to guess it? Is it possible? Before that, you should identify who are the parents of these salts. Parent salts. What are these? These are nothing but salts are the compounds produced during the reaction between acid and a base. So, they are the parents. Now, NaCl when added to water, it ionizes and becomes Na plus and Cl minus. Similarly, water also H plus and OH minus. Now, mutual exchange of radical takes place, then forms HCl and NaOH. Both HCl and NaOH are strong. What do you mean by strong? When you add some substance, maybe acid or a base, to the water, if ionizes completely, you call that one as a strong acid or a strong base. Partial dissociation leads to weak acid and weak base. So, acetic acid is a weak acid, HCl is a strong acid. Similarly, ammonium hydroxide is a weak base, NaOH is a strong base. Based on this, let us analyze. Now, HCl, NaOH both are strong, hence pH is 7. That means it is a neutral salt solution. Next one, ammonium chloride. Let us see what are the parents. HCl strong, ammonium hydroxide a weak base. So, acid is strong means pH must be less than 7. See how to analyze this one. Dear children, try to analyze the question like this. Next one, CH3CONA, sodium acetate. What are the parent compounds? The parent compounds are NaOH, strong base, acetic acid, vinegar is a weak acid. Now, strong base means pH is more than 7. Thus, you can easily analyze these type of questions. These are higher order thinking questions. I hope you understood this one very well. Now, uses of common salts, very important. Common salt, edible salt, table salt, what we call. This is so important that from this it is a raw material for many chemicals such as sodium hydroxide, baking soda, washing soda, bleaching powder and so on. Now, let us see how these are produced, that is by chloralkali process we are getting some products. These products are in turn used to produce many salts. Concentrated NaCl solution is said to be brine. That brine is taken in this unit, then electricity is passed through that. What happens? NaCl breaks up into Na plus and Cl minus. Similarly, water also breaks up into H plus and OH minus. Now, see what happens. The chlorine, it migrates towards anode, which is the positive terminal. Cl is negatively charged ion, so obviously attracted by the positive anode, and what happens there? It is collected as chlorine gas. Similarly, at cathode hydrogen comes and that also tapped out. Now, remaining is Na plus and OH minus. What happens to that? See the equation. NaCl plus 2H2O gives rise to 2NaOH plus H2 plus Cl2. This is the reaction of chloralkali process. Why it is so called? Chlorine, alkali, NaOH, hence the name. Now, let us see what are the product produced by the product of this one. First one is chlorine. Chlorine is used in CFCs, polyvinyl chloride, PVC, pesticides like DDT, and also used in swimming pools to kill the germs. Next one, hydrogen. It is a very good fuel, also used in artificial ghee, that is margarine. Then also used in fertilizers like, yes, you know, many fertilizers of ammonium compounds. These are produced from hydrogen. Now, NaOH, that is also one of the important product, major base, detergents, soaps, paper making, and also degreasing the metals. These are the various areas where we are using sodium hydroxide. So, observe this diagram for the application level questions, or based on this many questions are possible. Now, let us move on to the next one, that is bleaching powder. What is this? The name itself suggests for what purpose it is used. It is a bleaching agent. When chlorine gas is passed through dry slaked lime, calcium hydroxide, you are getting calcium oxychloride, CaOCl2, which is commonly known as bleaching powder. Actual composition is complex, but for your 10th standard, let us consider CaOCl2 means bleaching powder. So, this is the reaction. So, what are the uses? It is used in the bleaching, that is bleaching of cotton, wood pulp, paper, cloths and so on. It is excellent oxidizing agent used in many chemical industries for oxidation purpose. It also used to make drinking water free from germs. Thus, bleaching powder is used for many purposes. At least two very important uses you should remember. Now, let us move on to the next one, that is baking soda. Very important compound used at home itself for baking, also used in bakeries. How this is prepared? The brine means NaCl. Here we are using sodium chloride solution in water, through which we are passing two important gases. One is carbon dioxide, another one is ammonia NH3. Then you are getting NaHCO3, that is baking soda, and ammonium chloride as a byproduct. So remember children, important equation. When baking powder is, this baking soda is used to prepare baking powder, that baking powder is heated or mixed with water, what happens? Yes, it is very important aspect because it releases carbon dioxide, which makes food puffy, spongy and tasty. The reaction is here, NaHCO3 plus H plus from acid, any acid, gives rise to carbon dioxide, water plus sodium salt of that particular acid. So this is the important reaction takes place during the baking. Now let us move on to the next one, uses of baking soda, that is already told, it is used for making baking powder, used as an antacid, already I told. Then it is also used in soda acid fire extinguisher because it produces carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide is a fire extinguishing substance. It is not a supporter of combustion. Now let us move on to next one, that is washing soda. Washing soda, Na2CO3 dot and H2O or decahydrate. When baking soda is heated strongly, decomposes to produce Na2CO3, which is popularly known as soda ash, plus H2O water, carbon dioxide CO2. Now this Na2CO3 is treated with water, then water of crystallization process takes place and 10 molecules of water is absorbed and you are getting washing soda. So this is commonly known as decahydrate of sodium carbonate. Sodium carbonate, decahydrate. The next one is uses. Sodium carbonate is used for many purposes, used in glass, soap, paper industries, and also used in the manufacture of sodium compound called borax, also used as domestic cleaning agent and used for removing permanent hardness of water. Thus it has many uses, very important compound also. Now the plaster of Paris, POP. You have seen many toys on roadside from what it is made up of, and also Ganesha statues during Ganesha festivals. So this is produced from plaster of Paris only, and also you have seen people are wearing some bandages, cement for their broken bone. For the bone setting we are using this plaster of Paris. How it is prepared? It is prepared from gypsum, calcium sulfate, dihydrate, CaSO4 dot to H2O. On heating strongly for about 100 degrees Celsius or 373 Kelvin, you are getting CaSO4 dot half H2O. What is this? Half H2O? Not possible. It is half mole of water plus 1.5 mole of water is produced. When you break 1 mole of calcium sulfate, that is the gypsum, when you break 1 mole of gypsum, you are getting 1 mole of plaster of Paris plus 1.5 mole of water. If you reverse the process, that is how it is used, what happens during the setting means calcium sulfate hemihydrate combines with 1.5 mole of water to become plaster, calcium sulfate dot to H2O called gypsum. These are two reversible processes at different situations, depends on our requirement. Now think, very important thought provoking question. These are called as higher order thinking questions. Let us try to solve this one. When a piece of limestone reacts with dilute HCl, a gas X is produced. when the gas X is passed through calcium hydroxide, we are getting a white precipitate of Y. That is the compound Y formed. On passing excess of gas X through this one, you are getting a soluble compound Z. Then what are XYZs? Already I explained this one in previous slides. What is your answer? Think. When metal carbonate reacts with the acid, the gas produced is none other than carbon dioxide. Hence, X is yes, carbon dioxide. Then what is Y? So, calcium carbonate. When the carbon dioxide is passed through lime water, calcium carbonate that is produced. Now, what is Z? Further, you are continuing the passing of the carbon dioxide through the solution, it turns colorless because soluble calcium hydrogen carbonate is produced. That is the calcium hydrogen carbonate. This is the equation. CaOH twice plus CO2 gives rise to CaCO3 plus H2O, which is milky white insoluble calcium carbonate. Now, the final equation is this calcium carbonate further reacts with the water and carbon dioxide, that the blowing is continued. Then you are getting calcium hydrogen carbonate. I hope you understood these concepts very well. Also, you enjoyed many activities also. So, I hope you are doing very well in the examination. So, I wish all the best. Namaste. Thank you for watching.
ಭೀತಿ ತೊರೆಯುವ ನಾವು ಪರೀಕ್ಷೆ ಬರೆಯುವ ಪರೀಕ್ಷಾವಾಣಿಯ ನಾವು ನೋಡಿ ಕಲಿಯುವ
ಖಾಲಿ ಜಾಗ ಭರ್ತಿ ಮಾಡಿ ಹೊಂದಿಸಿ ಬರೆದು ಲೆಕ್ಕ ಮಾಡಿ
ಚಿತ್ರ ಬರೆದು ಭಾಗವ ಹೆಸರಿಸಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆಗೂ ಉತ್ತರಿಸಿ
ಪಾಸು ಫೇಲು ಗೆಲುವು ಸೋಲು ಜೀವನ ಎಲ್ಲಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಮಿಗಿಲು
ಅಂಕಗಳೆಂದರೆ ಮೇಲಿನ ತೊಗಟೆ ವಿದ್ಯೆ ಅದರ ಒಳಗಿನ ತಿರುಳು ಭೀತಿ ತೊರೆಯುವ ನಾವು ಪರೀಕ್ಷೆ ಬರೆಯುವ ಪರೀಕ್ಷಾವಾಣಿಯ ನಾವು ನೋಡಿ ಕಲಿಯುವ ಪರೀಕ್ಷಾವಾಣಿಯ ನಾವು ನೋಡಿ ಕಲಿಯುವ ಪರೀಕ್ಷಾವಾಣಿಯ ನಾವು ನೋಡಿ ಕಲಿಯುವ
ಪರೀಕ್ಷಾವಾಣಿ